Yalla Chaver, let's learn. Daf Nun Zayin in the Sfarim. Does anyone need a page? I have an extra page. Daf Nun Zayin. Here's pages. Okay, today's going to be juicy, boys. Warning, it's going to be a juicy day. We have a lot to learn. We have a lot to really delve into right now. This is very, very serious times. We got to stay so focused. Bezrat Hashem, may the Torah be the only thing that keeps us focused and nothing else. Amen. And that's what today's shir is all about. And I want to just thank the anonymous sponsor for this morning's Seudat Torah. Oh, it's not anonymous. Okay. I didn't. Yesterday was anonymous.
Well, the sponsor wasn't anonymous. The reason behind it. Thank you to the sponsor for answering us to
Bezrat Hashem. Yofi. Okay. So to open up the Sefer Daf Nun Zayin, we're starting a new parak today, parak K. Now we're delving deeper into Chochma, Bina, and Das as it relates to Tikkun Medina. Steve, today's learning is going to be mashlim what you brought up to me at the end of last year. No, it's thank him. It's clear. It's not so complicated.
It's only because you're leading me in the right direction.
So kacha chaverim. Again, let's go again. Chochma. How did we say Chochma is? What did we say Chochma was? Chochma is this lightning bolt of when something becomes crystal clear to me. I don't yet know what to do with it, but I know this is the direction. Like I've shared with you, maybe I shared in a women's shir. I had a friend in Los Angeles. She was Gewalt, Balas Tshuva from the Valley. She was on an Israelite retreat. Not. See, today, Rabbi David Aaron is more known for the books and really the Yeshivat Oraita that he has. But back in the day, those of you that remember, Israelite was an incredible movement. You remember that? Remember when they were doing? It was amazing things what they were doing back then. They were doing these retreats and these courses and these programs. And one of my friends was from the Happy Minyan, was on one of these trips, and she was never. I don't think she was ever here in Eretz Yisrael. And she passed, I shared this many years ago, and I shared it at Women's Shir 2 weeks ago, because it had to do with the same context. She passed by a shul on Friday night in the old city. The door opened. She heard a nigun for the first time on a Friday night, Kabbalah Shabbos nigun, and she started bawling. She couldn't stop crying. A friend of hers asked her, what just happened? She said, I can't explain it, but I didn't even realize that I was looking for home, and I found home right now. Now, she doesn't understand that. She didn't understand what was going on, but on the level of something going on inside, this lightning bolt of, this is probably going to be the rest of my life. And she's spent the rest of her life kind of unpacking that moment that hit her so deeply. Okay? That's how we're talking again about Chochma, as he says, Chochma is the samchus of the Torah. We're going to explain what this is, the Torah's authority. Hevzek rishoni shel hashra'ah, that means the first lightning bolt of inspiration, which is exactly what I just attempted to describe. Yes?
So what does she do now?
She's an amazing yid. She's an amazing yid that's made on fire for Yiddishkeit, has beautiful children, and no, mamash, Baruch Hashem. This is probably like 28 years ago. Okay. Kfi shenitbaya perek hakodem, I'm warning everyone. This is going to be, it won't be hard for anybody in this room. Maybe hard people outside the room, but not in this room. Kfi shenitbaya perek hakodem, like we learned previously in the previous chapter of Ginsburg told us, ala chochma ne'amar. What does it say about chochma? Shma beni musar avicha. Last 2 weeks we were doing chochma is Abba, Bina is Ima. The mochin of the Av and the Em. What I receive from my father, what I receive from my mother. Shma b'ni musar avicha, listen, my child, to the musar of your father. Ha'av mesamel avur b'no et makor ha'samchut ha'muchlat. In an ideal world. Because some of you are thinking over here, are you kidding me? My father doesn't represent any authoritative figure that I would want to be part of, right? But in an ideal world, basically the way it's supposed to be is ha'av mesamel avur b'no et makor ha'samchut ha'muchlat. The absolute authority. I just want to mention your Abba Yishai. I'll tell you why. I was up north one time with your brother. Who else was with me from here? No, I was with my brother-in-law and your brother. We were filming something. And we saw Dudaim. And your brother went nuts over Dudaim, and he spoke about your Abba. having this chush of dudaim. How do you say dudaim in English? Mandrakes, right. There are certain things that parents instill within us, and for forever, because of what it meant to them, how they gave it over, becomes to us lilo orerin. We don't ask, we don't shy, we don't have any questions over it. It's pashut pshat of something meaningful very deep into my heart. I don't fully understand it, but I know it to be. I just know it to be. Mekor samchut muchletet, the authority, I know it to be from coming from that place. HaChochma HaTiv'it shel HaNeshama Elokit HaYisraelit, the natural Chochma of the godly Jewish soul, mitafyenet bitchusha she'achen kayam makor samchut muchlat. HaTorah. No kshailas, total authority. Meaning, how do I know, how does the natural Chochma that's in my being, how does it come out to be? How does it mitafyen? How does it basically come out to play a role in its life? Only through one thing, the Torah. HaMeuchedet im nuten HaTorah, she'arei oraita v'kudsha brichu kula echad. When people say, I'm close to God, my thing is God, and then you tell them, so what role does the Torah have? And they're like, no, I'm not getting confused with that stuff. I'm just with God, right? It's nothing. For a Jew, it doesn't mean anything. Now, it could be they do feel something inside, but the neshama's expression of it in this world, right? It's not. There's nothing much you can do over there. I'm not saying Khalila to belittle anybody or dismay them, but it's just in terms of how our expression of our soul comes out. It's only through the one authoritative thing in the world, and that is Torah. V'she'alenu lira mipanea ulechabda, we must be in awe of it and to respect it. Kfi she'aben mitzuveh lira mipnei aviv ulechabda. Just like a child has an inyan, has a chiyuv, has an obligation to have awe, fear, whatever you want to call it, and to honor and respect his father. Amok banefesh haben tavua chefzo leakir ulitkasher el mekor haveyato. Deep down inside. Listen, each of us have daddy issues, right? Everyone has daddy issues. But each one of us inside wants to find the place of love and honor and respect for where I came from my father. Hanimtza, to the source of my being. Where is the source of my being? Hanimtza beta'alumot chochmat aviv, which is, it resides deep in the wisdom of my father. The makor of my havaya, the source of my experience of being in this world, is rooted deeply in the source of my father. Without going too much into this, we quoted the Tanya last time, kfi she'izkarnu la'el, mekora shel tipat hazera hu bemoach hachochma. Like the Baal HaTanya says, that the source of the seed from which I came from really originates in the chochma of my father. Do you remember this? We were doing this, and those of you that learn Tanya know this very clearly. B'diuk, b'shas tashmish, exactly. Okay. Im zot, hu mesig al yedei dvikut ha'ava shelo ba'aviv, mitoch limud retzono v'kiyum hora'atov u'musro. But by the dvekus of love to our father, how do I get to that place where it's more about love and awe and all the beautiful things from India, that I'm in such a loving state of dvekut, is only by knowing what my father wants. That there's no other way for me to do anything with that tipa unless I spend my time trying to understand what is the ratzon of Abba, what's the ratzon of my father, and to follow through with what my father wants. When that bolt of lightning is illuminating in the soul, the recognition of one truth, like he said last time, the truth, nothing but the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Right now we're just by the truth. The whole truth is Bina, nothing but the truth is Das, right? But Chochma, when the truth is what's shining and illuminating from within me, what happens to me? How do I know that, like Be'emes, how do I know? How do I know that the truth is something that's chai v'kayim by me? Ech ani yodeh et ze? מתעורר בנפש רצון לכך שהתורה תורה את דרכה בכל פרט ופרט של החיים. I have this ratzon that's coming from me, and I'm saying, Ribono Shleilim, there's one thing that I want and one thing only. That every single aspect of my life gets instructions only from one place, the Torah. That every relationship, my hitiachasut, the way I relate to anything in the world, shehat Torah, Torah. Now really, what does Torah mean? Instructions, right? Hora'ah. I want the Torah to instruct me. I want the Torah to guide me. This is how I know when this Chochma is actually something that's chai v'kayim in me. Like, I know we say brachas in the morning, and I know we come to shiurim, but can you imagine if in English we woke up in the morning after Moda'ani, let's say after Birkas HaTorah even, and we add on something in English and we say, Hashem Yitbarach, please, today, I want your Torah to guide me and instruct me in every avenue in my life. That's all I want. That everything that I end up doing, or things that I choose not to do, should just come from a place that I hear the Torah mamish talking to me and guiding me. See, that's how he says that the level of Chochma is me'oreh, it's awakened in your soul. Now, sometimes when we say statements like that, we're like, I don't know if I want that. Why? Because then I don't know if I could do so and so. Okay, guys, it's time to grow up. And baya, it's big leagues now. We're surrounded by enemies. Am Yisrael's chai v'kayam. We need to grow up. We need to go. I'm talking to myself. Just sharing with you what goes on in my mind all day long. It's time now for the big leagues. Yes, there may be things. It's true. There may be things I just shouldn't be doing anymore. It's okay. Akol beseder. Now he'll explain in a second how beseder it is. Zot mitoch ha'havana ad echan hadvarim megi'im. This all comes from the deep understanding how far these things reach. Ad kama hadvekut bedivrei Torah goreret tov ve'osher en sofim. When I realized that clinging to the words of Torah brings more good and endless happiness to my life. Ve'ad kama gadol atzar al achta'at kol zot. And how great the pain is over missing out on a life filled with true happiness. That's what Chochma brings me to. It's very easy to say to someone, you shouldn't be doing something. But getting them to not do what they shouldn't be doing from Chassidus has to come from a place of showing them, do you know what's in store? Do you know what kind of happiness? Do you know what kind of real fulfillment? Like real happiness is waiting for you. Mamash waiting for you. And you know what kind of a shame it would be if you would miss out on it? Now, what's the word for missing out in Hebrew?
Miss.
Chet.
Like with your basketball when you first made out.
B'diuk. Missing out is what chet means. Al pi Torah Sabal Shem Tov. We're not saying you're a sinner and you're going to Gehenna. That may be true. It's not my business. It's not my business. No, it's no one's business. Who's going where? It's about being clear that I do not want to miss out on a life of endless happiness, which is what a life fully illuminated and guided by the Torah is all about for us. That's the world of Torah. That's the joy. That's the endless joy that comes from our connection to a life of Torah. So how does this connect to where we're here? This shir is not called Anyadama v'Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam, or it's not a shir called Chiyuv B'Dveikus or something. I don't know. It's Tikkun Medina. Okay. Once this is clear to us, where do we go to from here? Look at the bottom line. Ube'ekshir leTikkun Medinat Yisrael, and when it comes to the fixing that we need to do here in Medinat Yisrael, Gar'in HaTikkun HaRishoni, the seed of the initial fixing, she'aleinu latat b'metziut hakayemet, that we must plant in the reality that's before us, hu ha'hakara besamchut haTorah kesamchut yechida ubiladit. This is very important. This is like a pivotal moment in the Sefer. What this means is the following: that I must plant into the reality of the experience of living here in Eretz Yisrael. I have to plant a seed into the reality, into everything that's here, that the only authority of us Jewish people is one thing and one thing only: Torah. Now, what kind of voices do you hear?
We're gonna go there.
Yeah, Eli.
But wait, we're the only democracy in the Middle East.
Right? But wait, we're the only democracy in the Middle East. Yafeh. Let's see what he does with this. I'm not, because you know me, I could go for 45 minutes right now on this last line. I'd rather take the Rav's words for this, because we're gonna unpack something, because then the question becomes, Lemi litzayet. Now that means, to who do I litzayet, defer? Who do I, no, tziyut, how do you say? Yeah, obey. Like, who do I listen to? Basically, who do I listen to? And that's been a big one here. Lemi litzayet. Who do I listen to? לוודאות שהתורה היא מקור הסמכות הבלעדי שלנו. Next page. ושכל צעד לקראת תיקון לאומי חייב להיות חדור בהכרה זו. Any step towards a national fixing must come from a place of that this is crystal clear to me, that the only authority is the Torah. ישנה השלכה מיידית על התנהגותנו במקרים בהם חוקי המדינה לפי תיקונה סותרים את חוקי התורה. We now, here we're getting, this is where it's coming to full on, head to head. What did he just say over here? We have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. What's the problem? Yesterday, today, tomorrow, 2005 was probably one of the biggest ones that we had a real issue. I'm proud to say my brother-in-law's first cousin was the first chayal to lesaref pkuda to lefanot yeshuvim in itnatkut, Avi Bieber. We have an issue. We have a big issue, because he says, what happens when the chukim, when the laws of the Medina that we love so much go against the chukim of the Torah? What do we do? That caused, this question caused, over the years, has caused such a rift, such a painful rift within the society. And it's brought people, I believe, to ignore, actually, a whole world, because it's too painful to figure to... It's too painful, and we actually have to admit that certain things just don't go. It's kind of like part of Waking Up from the Coma series, even. At a certain point, you got to realize, wait a second. Certain things don't go, and by me not obeying orders, does that make me an anarchist? Does that make me anti-democratic? Does that make me not Zionist? Does that make me not a law-abiding citizen? V'chulei? So this is very interesting stuff.
Or does it make me an Avarian by the definition of we have to keep the chuk?
Or Dina de Malchusadina, exactly. Yeah.
Which is a
Bediuk, nachon?
pragmatic.
Yeah, Yosef?
No, just that was a line that was thrown at me during when I first made Aliyah, during that tkufa. I don't want to say the word. During that tkufa, Corona, Dina de Malchusadina. Whatever.
Yeah, I'll tell you why it's very different, because of Das Torah there was very unclear as to, it was actually much more on the side of En Malasodina de Machusadina, you go for it. We're talking here about something else. We're talking here about, I know, I remember when that word.
When you throw that,
No, I didn't. Steve did. I didn't.
No, when you throw the word Dina de Malchusadina, that's
No. This is the shaila that's coming up. Saying what do we do with this?
Are we a democracy or are we a Jewish state?
And does it have...
No. The point is, rabbis were going to tell you that the laws of the country are Torah. That's the tricky bit.
And you get free
Which is no, that's true. That's where it gets.
That's where it happened in the Itnat.
That's where it gets traumatic, even. Mamash traumatic.
I would
traumatic.
Say one step further, because of the age of relativism, narratives, we have yesterday, today, tomorrow, major rabbis with major followings in the Haredi world.
Here he goes again. No.
That's also Das Torah.
Stop. Guess what? Let's stop going there. I want to go with you to, I'm sure Yishai was there. Let me see who else was there with me. I don't know. 2005, Chevron.
Yeah.
The Afghanot that we were going down to, and we were following.
I was there too.
You were there too. We were following. And you were there?
How's it called? The big rally at the Kotel.
I'm talking about down south, like being down there. I'm walking with the Rabbanim. I'm like, this is, now we're basically saying it's Torah, right? Like, we're going for it. The other way doesn't work. And for some reason, everyone was stopped by rabbinic leadership, and it left a door avud legamre. It left the whole young, passionate generation completely lost and confused in a very, what I said the word before, traumatic way. Because what ended up happening after that? There was a young generation that was on fire. It was. And they had a leadership that they thought saw them and were with them and were leading them towards Be'emet, Hitgalut of Torah Yisrael, Be'eretz Yisrael. And then what Yishai brought up is such a problem, because it became then a question of, are the chukim of the Medina the actual chukei Torah or not? Like, is that how we view the laws of a sovereign state and a country based on a democracy? Now, these questions back in the day, I mean, they're still floating all over the air, and they haven't been solved at all. But I think it's coming to a much clearer situation where most people are not going to wait for, like we've been talking about, like firm rabbinic leadership that's so mushpa from politics to give answers to these questions, when Das Torah seems to be so clear to people that are bleeding over Eretz Yisrael today. And it gets very confusing. Yes, Eli?
Isn't the focus we've had always been more individual in this year?
Yeah.
Because it's communious, it's not something we can...
100%.
Because once you bring it out to the external discussions of this group and that box and this thing...
That's why I don't want to go there. That's why I don't want to go to those places. I agree.
Tikkun in Medina is not a one-person job.
It starts with
With the critical mass of individuals.
Yes.
That's it.
Those fires were just
That's
put
it.
out in such a big way.
Also, Das Torah, there's like different.
That's what I'm raising. They're also...
But go back to what Eli...
I'm not raising it as a criticism. I'm saying
I
there are
know.
multiple...
I understand, but what Eli's saying...
Competing Das Torah.
But what Eli's saying is crucial for us to understand the mahalach of a shir like this. Pnimiyas Torah is not a Torah that goes and makes you decide. Like, the fire of Pnimiyas Torah is not one where after a shir you're like, I think I want to go with them. Or with them. Pnimiyas Torah is eish tamid tukad al hamizbeach lo yisichba. So it's a very good point you're raising, Eli. A very important point. It's how we've been doing it from the beginning. It's how I want to continue as well. Chukei Medina, second paragraph. Kshela'atzmam tovim hem. There are laws of the country that are, they're great. B'midah shekiyumam ve'achipatam mevi'im le'shleimutam u'letovatam shel klal ezrachea. When laws like this, when keeping them and reinforcing them, bring benefit and goodness for its citizens. V'al kach amru, and that's why Chazal told us, Heve mispalel b'shloma shel malchus, she'ilmale morah ish esre'u chayim b'la'o. One has to daven for the shlom of the malchus, because if not, if there's no malchus and there's just total anarchy, everyone's going to swallow up each other. Okay, so that's the Torah of the democracy Torah. It's like you have to daven so much for the shalom of what the democracy brought about, because if not, it'll be total anarchy. Okay, yafeh. We all know that. But the question is, כשיש התנגשות בין חוקים אלה לבין חוקי התורה, עלינו לשאול את עצמנו למי עלינו להישמע. But what happens when there's a clear clash? What happens when there's a clear clash between the two? Who do you listen to? Mihu avinu ha'amiti. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's Abba? Who's Tati? והתשובה לשאלה הזו כמובן מאליו לכל המאמין בהשם בתורתו, היא זו המגולמת במאמר חז"ל. What's the answer that's clear to anyone that has emunah in his heart? Chazal says, divrei harav v'divrei talmid divrei mi shomim. When the Rav speaks and the student speaks, who do you listen to? So Rav Ginsburg says, harav hu HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kasher talmid hu kol bria acheret. The student is any other creation. Remember, this goes connected to what we said in Shul, not this past Shabbos, the Shabbos before, based on the Mishnah in Avos, Aseh lecha Rav ve'istalek min hasafek. The Kushnitzer Magid told us, Aseh lecha Rav is making HaKadosh Baruch Hu your Rebbe. And when you make Hashem your Rebbe, you're mistalek min hasafek. It's not a question. These are not questions. When the Rebbeinu Shalem is your Rebbe. משמעות התשובה היא כמובן שהרב יודע ומבין טוב יותר, ולכן צריך לקיים את דבריו. Of course the Rav, Hashem knows best. וכך ניסח זאת הרמב"ם ביחס לביטול גזירת המלך. Bless you. And what the Rambam says over here regarding nullifying a decree of the king, המבטל גזירת המלך בשביל שנתעסק במצוות, אפילו ממצווה קלה, הרי זה פטור מדינו של מורד במלכות. When are you exempt from falling under the category of being mored b'malchus? Mored means to rebel against the kingdom. When you're mevatel gzeira of the king, even if it's for the sake of the smallest mitzvah that he basically said you can't do, ramifications of his gzeiras is that you can't do the mitzvahs, and you're mevateling that mitzvah, that gzeira, in order to mekayim mitzvah, the Rambam says you don't fall into the category of being mored b'malchus.
We have it with kibbut hoarding too. It's very similar.
Divrei harav v'divrei ha'eved. Divrei harav kodmin, the Rambam says. ואין צריך לומר אם גזר המלך לבטל מצווה שאין שומעים לו. We don't even have to say that if a king is mevatel a mitzvah that we don't listen to him. I'll give you an example. Last night we had a wonderful event, which I want to give you a little kick in the tuchus. You guys got to get more involved in what the holy women in this community are doing. Bayadayim Shelanu is one of the most important things that we have going here right now in Efrat. The awareness, the consciousness of these women that are mamash looking into the eye of what's going on right now and saying things got to change here. Chavra, get involved. However you can, just get involved. Rav Efrati opened up the night and he gave a beautiful, about 20-minute. Were you there? I think you came later. He was amazing. He gave a 25-minute halachic shmooze on the concept of hiring Yishmaeli labor. But it wasn't focused on anything other than just Das Torah. He was giving all these different, he gave 3 different mahalchim to explain, to understand to us the halachic problems that we'll fall into if we go back and have here Yishmaeli labor here. He spoke about non-Jewish labor bichlal. He also spoke about the mitzvahs Yeshuva Aretz. He did it in a way that only a gadol like him can do it. When he was done, there was time for questions. One person asked this question, and he said, "Aval Harav, lama lo heveta et kol ha'inyan shel pikuach nefesh?" Like, why wasn't that part of your halachic thing? He says, and it was so brilliant. He says, everything I said is after the vadaut, the clear thing of that's clear to all of us of the matter of pikuach nefesh. Meaning, if I have to go into a sugya like what we're speaking about not bringing in Arab labor, and I even have to discuss the concept of pikuach nefesh, that's so shallow, that's so small, it's so low. So I'm thinking about this because the Rambam ends over here, ve'en tzarich lomar im gazar hamelech levatel mitzvah she'en shomin lo. The Rambam saying, and when a king nullifies a mitzvah, do I even have to go into the sugya of do I listen to him or do I not listen to him? It's not even part of the. It's not part of the tish. It's not even part of the sikha. That's the Rambam. He's saying that's not even. We're not even getting into that. If I even have to get into that, it's zosememeni katana. It's embarrassing. I think that's what he's saying over here. I think that's what the Rambam's saying. It's like don't embarrass yourself by asking me a shaila. Well, what do I do when a king is mevatel a mitzvah? That's not even part of our conversation. So far, so good, Chavra? Weiter. Mecha'a vehitnagdut ezrachit bilti alima. And I have to stress this, because people hear what they want to hear. So I want to emphasize this and stress this in Rav Ginsburg's words. A non-violent mecha'a. Protest. And hitnagdut. And opposing a civilian מחאה והתנגדות אזרחית בלתי אלימה כנגד פשעים חברתיים ופוליטיים הינן שיטות מוכרות, חוקיות, ואף זוכות לשבחים ברוב המדינות הנאורות בעולם. You know, when he says something interesting, he says when you see like law-abiding citizens that go out and protest in a nonviolent way against things that they believe are totally against, that are basically psha'im chevratiyim, social crimes and political crimes. People go out and protest like that. In the enlightened countries of the world, they're like, wow, look at these civilized people that are doing such things. Just like all the Afghanot in the world about Eretz Yisrael, right? It's still Adar, we gotta laugh, right? Yehudim שומרי תורה ומצוות העומדים מול סתירה בין החוק לבין התורה בוודאי יכולים ונדרשים לפעול במסגרתם. Yidden that love the Torah, that keep the Torah and keep the mitzvahs, for sure, it's demanded of them to raise your voice, to step up and say, Lo yeh kacha. It will not be like this. But do you hear from this paragraph one violent word from Rav Ginsburg? Afuch. Afuch. You'd expect him to say, and you do whatever you got to do, even if it means so and so. It's not what he's saying yet. No, it's not what he's saying here. Next page. By the way, this is still under Chochma. Everything over here is still under Chochma. Bina we're going to do next year. Gam b'mesoret Yisrael, dinei bitul gzerat hamelech enam teoria bilvad. We're not, in tradition, when we learn about the laws of like mevatling the gzer of the melech, we're not just talking theoretically. Hagmara lomedet otam mishnei sarei tzava Yisrael. The Gemara learns this from two different sarei tzava in Am Yisrael. Avner ben Ner ve'amasha ben Yeter. Asher bitlu et gzerat melech Yisrael. Melachim ksherim asher munu al pi navi. These two people nullified, they canceled out gzeras of kosher kings that were munu, anointed. They were anointed by the Navi. V'tzivanu al kach lishvach, and v'tziyunu al kach lishvach. And their bittul of the gzeras of the melachim ksherim were looked at as
Praise.
Does someone mind putting on some air? Is that okay with Chevra? A little bit of air. Just make sure it's not on heat. Mr. Rich likes to be in a toaster here in the morning sometimes. Okay. דווקא המסגרת הצבאית היא הדוגמה העיקרית לקבלת סמכות. The whole מסגרת צבאית. How do you say מסגרת?
Enclosure.
No, not enclosure. The framework of a soldier, the military framework, is a great example to receiving authority. תפקודו של החייל בנוי על קבלת עול, a soldier's way of operating is all based on, קבלת עול. ועד לכך שהוא מוסר את נפשו על מילוי הפקודות בלי לחקור בשכלו את טעמן. He'll go and fulfill orders without questioning, and that's how you build a faithful soldier. That they're ne'eman, they're loyal to the pkuda that they get, no matter what. עם זאת, במקרים היוצאים מן הכלל, בהם נדרש החייל לסרב פקודה על פי התורה, but there are cases, יוצא מן הכלל, where a soldier is demanded to not obey orders when it goes against the Torah, when the orders go against the Torah, עליו לעשות זאת באותו התוקף ובאותה התמסרות, בהם הוא ממלא תמיד את הפקודות. He must follow the same type of I'm listening to orders no matter what, when they're coming from high up. When they go against the Torah, that same obedience to following orders, divrei harav, divrei talmid, divrei mishomin, I cannot listen to orders that go against the Torah. Got so quiet in the room right now.
How many people were arrested from this?
Not enough. Not enough. Can you imagine? Not enough. You hear what he asked? How many people were actually arrested during the Itnatkut for not following orders?
Very few.
Not enough. But it's not their, I'll tell you, it's what Yishai said before. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. They were receiving, I don't even know what to call it. They were receiving a bilbul me'en kamo. But it's about us right now. It's not about Rabbanim, them, it's about us. ואכן למרבה הפלא, דווקא שר הצבא שציית לפקודות בלתי חוקיות על פי חוק תורתנו הקדושה, יואב בן צרויה התברר בסופו של דבר כמורד במלכות. And דווקא the שר הצבא, יואב בן צרויה, who obeyed illegal פקודות, against the Torah, he at the end was considered someone that's Mored B'Malchus. He was the one that goes under the definition of being Mored B'Malchus. אם חיילים בצה"ל נדרשים לעקור יישובים יהודיים בארץ ישראל, עליהם לסרב פקודה. He's not mincing his words. He's just saying straight out. Soldiers are told to uproot Jewish settlements in Eretz Israel, that you can't obey an order like that. אם הוראות הפתיחה באש גורמת לסיכון של יהודים, מתוך סולם ערכים משובש ועקרונות מעוותים, המציגים עצמם בהתייפייפות כתור הנשק וכיוצא בזה, אסור להישמע להן. Now this is a big one. This is actually a big, big, big one. The first thing he said was uprooting Jewish settlements. Can you follow an order that says to uproot Jewish settlements? He says no. The second thing is much more a lamaisa that's been happening here for years. Huh? No, but one, that was
clear.
No, it's not a matter of clear, not clear.
Frequency of
the frequency of what is happening is that daily. This one is daily. The second thing here is daily. And that is what? Horaot pticha be'esh. Now this has been such a golistic mindset, it's scary. Where's that what? When you can fire and when you can't fire. The amount of chilul Hashem that has come out of the pkudot of hora'ah b'pticha be'esh is mortifying. It's nothing short of mortifying. Chayalim that have been put themselves into such danger. This is still going on today. It's still going on today. He calls it hityafyefut tor haneshek. That means, how do you say, it's already a big thing.
Purity of arms.
No, but hityafyefut. Trying to,
Steam.
huh?
Blowing steam.
No, it's, what's that?
Warped kindness?
Yeah, it's definitely warped kindness. Yeah, it's yafyefut tor haneshek. The beautiful, yeah, but it's not that. It's like
Glorification, self-aggrandizement
of something so meuvat, something so polluted. You understand? Do you know what it would? I mean, are there anyone here that served in the Sadir in the last 10 years here? Probably not, right? I don't think so. But even Miluimnik, you have the same Horah Pticha Be'esh, but by Sadirnik, that's in the front line. By them, it's happening all day. Do you know when you're allowed to shoot and when you're not allowed to shoot? It changed a little bit in the last year or two. But do you know what it was like for years here? He has it's all these. When he has a rock next to him, nothing. When he has the rock up, nothing. When he goes like this, nothing. And when he then chucks it at you, then what? Shoot a warning. The rock's about to hit your head. Daven for I don't know. Kilo. It's a pashut. It's, you know what it is? We could have all these emotions about it, but we could have all these emotions about it. But the bottom line is, it's not about an emotion. It's not Torah. It's just not Torah.
That's what I struggle with.
Sorry, say it again.
That's what I struggle with having a son in the army, where certain things are not in the Torah way. It's a big
100%. Things are much better now today than it was a few years ago. Just no, mamash. It is much better. But it's still, we're not yet where it needs to be on the level just of Torah. Meaning we could have an emotional reaction and saying, this is sick, this is crazy. The bottom line is that, but it's just not Torah. Right? You could say uprooting Jewish settlements, what a sick, twisted, perverted, sick people. Beseder, but I'd rather go with, it's just not Torah. Because on October 8th, we gathered in here for our first shir. And it was learning Hilchos Nekama, Perek Yudbet in Or Ra'ayon, which lasted for probably like a month and a half, probably a month and a half. And we begged ourselves, it would be too easy to get carried away, all emotions. So please let us, Hashem Yisbarach, show us al pi Torah what you have to say about this. These two things, let's just stick to it. He's saying, this is a Torah book. It's not a self-help emotional book. He's just saying, we're talking about Tikkun Medina. We have to plant seeds within the Havayah of the Metziut that we're here, that we only have one authority. The authority of Jews living in Eretz Yisrael needs to be the Torah Kedosha. Because look what happens when it's not. Look what happens when it's not. And it's too depressing to actually think about the obvious, about this second thing over here. כשנדע בוודאות, second to bottom paragraph, כשנדע בוודאות ברורה, שהסמכות הבלעדית היא התורה, but we know with utmost certainty that the only authority is the Torah, וחוכמתה היא האב והרב היחיד של נשמות ישראל, and its wisdom of the Torah is the father and the only Rebbe, the only father, the only Rebbe of Nishmot Yisrael. תהיה דרך פעולה זו ברורה לנו, והיחידה בה נוכל לבחור. There won't be any questions. It won't be complicated. It won't be a shayla. אמנם, פנינו לשינוי ולתיקון של חוקי המדינה, ולהתאמתם לרוחה ולדעתה של תורה. Where are we facing? What are we trying to do? We're trying to bring about a change and a fixing of the laws of this country, that it should be with the ruach and the spirit of the Torah, kfi sheitbe'er b'hemshech, which will become clearer later on. B'perek ha'osek b'sfirat ha'tiferet, we're going to be going through the spheres. Yisum ha'shinui hazeh hu tafkidam shel talmidei ha'chachamim ha'amitiyim shebador. To actually lead, to do this on a very, we said we're not getting into that yet, but to implement such a change is the tafkid of the real emes dika talmidei chachamim of the generation. And don't ask me who is that and who isn't it. We're not there yet. I don't even know if we'll ever be there. Right now, it's about us implementing this as a das for us. How we raise our children, the homes we build, the communities we live in, what we follow, what our life looks like here. Hapasuk omer hachochma ta'oz lachacham. That's a very interesting pasuk. Where's it from? Did you check, Steve, the back? Tetzayin. No. Tetvav, slicha. Kohelet. Yeah, o tetvav. Yeah, tetvav. HaChochma ta'oz lachacham. Wisdom will ta'oz lachacham, bring strength to the wise one. כדי לחיות את בהירות החוכמה, דרושה תעוזה רבה. To live the clarity of Chochma, what's demanded is תעוזה רבה. Okay, what is oz?
Strength.
A lot of koach, a lot of inner strength. תעוזה רבה. בימינו מחייב התיקון הלאומי סטייה מכללי המשחק. הוא דורש מקור חדש של סמכות אמינה ושונה מזו המוכרת כיום. This is a hard one in this sefer. In our days, the national fixing is demanding a complete סטייה. Means he can't play the game anymore. סטייה מכללי המשחק. It's done. הוא דורש מקור חדש של סמכות. It demands a new authority, a new source of authority. Amina v'shona, different from whatever we knew today. Listen, it can't be. If we want to fix the Medina, and we really want to build this country, letiferet hashkadosh baruch hu, the whole way the judicial system is set up here is rotten to the core. Not the way a lot of chevra is saying it. We're not talking about that. They're saying that the judicial system is rotten to the core from another side of the coin. Yeah, it's all, that's bichlal, that's not the way. Forget for a second that the head of the Supreme Court, we know that he didn't know how to mashlim Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. He didn't know how to finish the sentence Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. The president of the Supreme Court of Eretz Yisrael for the last God knows how many years. It's just, that's beyond that. Even if he did know, it's Lam Shaneh. It doesn't matter. Makora Samchut, authority. We're Torah. We live a life of Torah. But again, you can hear this shir with such a kitzoni, angry, like wow, kanoi. You're all zealots. Look at you. Or you can be like, no. I believe that the Torah is the most colorful, beautiful, hippiest, barefoot, loving makor. You understand? It's a matter of how do you bring out the word of Hashem? Because the other way sure doesn't bring people closer.
And how do you protect it?
In the most beautiful way we bring out the word of Torah. But it's Torah. And that's, I believe, one second, and I believe with all my heart and soul that only through the Ruach of the Baal Shem Tov can we bring about a Torah that can be heard in such a way that everyone would want it to be its authority. without the ruach hapnimiyus Torah, without the ruach of the Baal Shem Tov, I don't see how it could be possible to bring about a voice of Torah that will be so much, everyone's like, oh, if only this was my authority. It wouldn't be. Yeah, Steve.
I was just going to, it's an observation. I don't expect a response. But it's easy when we draw the comparison with the Chief Justice. No problem. But when you have so many contradictory voices that speak al das Torah,
you can't let go of it.
No, because we're surrounded with it.
The chief rabbi told us that
we should go home.
We should go get out of here.
More than that, I know what you're saying, but this is also
100%.
This is a group that's pretty much unified and so
I know.
we talk to ourselves.
Go back to Eli Goldsmith's point from the beginning of Shir, though. Mazel tov. I could know that.
I know.
And yet, my avoda here is avoda sanefesh. These things must be clear to me, to the way that I use the faculties of my heart and soul and my mind, the way that it's being presented to us. Iyachinami, Steve, to everything you're saying, from day one. Just the shaila is, I'm here to do avoda sanefesh on myself. These things have to be clear to me. They have to be crystal clear to me first. Okay, and I'm with you. There's no stira. Oz zeh, we're going to end this paragraph. We did a lot. Baruch Hashem. Oz zeh ba lanu mitoch ha-chochma atzma. Listen, strength, real strength, only comes from the wisdom that I receive from the Torah. That is the strength. The strength of the Jewish people. The real, pnimi strength. It comes from the chochma that I get from Tati. Connecting to Tati's ratzon. That's it. That's how I get strong. ככל שהאמת נעשית ברורה יותר בתודעתנו, the more the truth becomes clearer in our consciousness, אנו שואבים ממנה עוז לעמוד כנגד המבקרים והמגינים. Apparently there are a few of those. מבקרים ומגינים. Right? There's a few חבר'ה that have a critique on Yidden, Eretz Yisrael. Like, I think we're up to like 10, 12 people now that are very against Shugana Torah. This is crazy, right? He's saying, but when I have real strength, ma ichpatli. There's nothing that it has nothing to do with the way I operate here. It's nothing to do with it. Mama, it's nothing. It's nothing. Let's finish the paragraph. דרכה של החוכמה להשפיע על מתנגדיה ללא כפייה. This is so important, Chaver, this last line. דרכה של החוכמה, the way real wisdom works, is to be mashpia al mitnagdea, is to influence those that oppose it, lelo kfia, without any coercion. Ela bekoach ha'omek va'emet hanovim mitocha bilvad, but only from the koach, from the depth of a truth that basically sprouts forth from within it. I actually want to say something really nice about Rav Fruman right now. About Rabbi Menachem Fruman. It says Yortzeit coming up, and I'll be the first to say that most of the time I couldn't stay in the same room with him. Bemet. I couldn't. He can't even say he's a lefty. He was a right. He was.
He tried to make.
He tried to make. Yeah, that's better. He tried to make religious peace, but he's not. He wasn't from this world. Okay, he was the Rav of Tkoa. He was not from this world. He wasn't from this world. And I tried. I went to Shiurim. I tried, and I even at the end, right before he died, I actually did an evening with him. Rosh Chodesh Av in Tkoa. He told me to bring the guitar. First day of the 9 days. I came, and we sang Nigunim, and because I have this like feeling of like, I always have this feeling of, big people, eclectic minds, eclectic people, that if they're going to check out, and then you'll discover afterwards, like this was like, really you couldn't see the light because of your own blindness, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. So I forced myself, and I'm happy I did. Not that he became my Rebbe, he's not, but I definitely learned from him. he became the Rav of Tkoa. When he became the Rav of Tkoa, they wanted to make a decree that it's asur to drive on Shabbos in Tkoa. And you know Tkoa is a mixed yeshuv. He said, if that's what you're telling me, there's no way that I agree to be the Rav of Tkoa. Why? He says, because anything that comes from the world of kfiyah, he said, is not Yiddishkeit. Anything that comes from coercion, it's just not Yiddishkeit. Now, you could hear that and be like, wow, look at him. He's so, he doesn't care about Torah and Shalom. No. Meaning, I feel like this last line over here, he's operating from the same place. I believe, B'emunah Shlema, when you give someone the goods, the real Chochma, you don't have to shum kfiyah, no nothing. Klar. And then it's a game changer. All this falls into the category of the samchut of Abba, which is Chochma. This has to be clear to us. L'maisa. Let's just end with this. What's a l'maisa we could take from today? Is that all the first 75 years of making these kombinot and juggling and trying to show how it could all work and everything and compromise here and then ending up uprooting settlements here and continuing with an anti-Torah policy regarding when you can open up on fire on enemies or not, doesn't work. It's against the Torah. It's just against the Torah. That's clear to me? Now I start to plant those seeds within here. Just here. Don't worry about the Charedim or the Datilumi Rabbanim that let us down. Big time. Here. Now. Grassroots. It starts like this. It's not just here. We have hundreds of people that learn with us every single day. Hundreds. Every day. And I already asked Mechila from all the Chaver that write me every day. I can't keep up with it for my life. I'm trying. But there's a lot of people that are learning with us dafka this more than any of the other Sfarim we've learned before. Because there's a hunger to wake up from the coma. And Baruch Hashem, it should be from our schus to be part of it, and to implement it, starting with our own Avodas Hashem, Be'ezrat Hashem. Okay, shkoyach everyone.